All right, first and foremost, I want to start out by saying and giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakwadash. I want to give double honor to the apostle, GMS Rule of Well, our beloved elders, our teachers that we learn from. Peace, blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect out there that's tuning in, striving, waiting for the return of our Lord Yahushua, which is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, and yearning for the destruction and the going down of wickedness and evil, the so-called white man, which are known as the biblical Edomites. As the title says, Virginia's merit, I would be forgetting the name, Virginia's Meritorious Manumssion Act. So this is going to be just a little history on it. I first discovered this in a book called Dr. Claude Anderson, which I've been reading. Go out there and get it. I highly recommend Dr. Claude Anderson, Dirty Little Secrets, and more in the second book, and more Dirty Little Secrets. And this is an article, the West Side Gazette, slave behavior will not go away. And Shalaki, I would have told you the book page of Dr. Claude Anderson to go find it. I meant to bring it in, but I forgot. But it says, for Native Black Americans, the incentives to sell out their race began in slavery. In 1710, Virginia passed the Meritorious Manumssion Act. Meritorious means something earned. Manumssion means becoming free of freedom. In his book, a Black history reader, Dr. Claude Anderson, wrote, the Meritorious Manumssion Act enabled slaveholders to legally free a slave for good deeds. A slaveholder could grant freedom to a slave who saved the life of a so-called white person, designed or invented something that enriched the life of a so-called white person, or snitched on other blacks, so-called blacks, who were resisting or contemplating a revolt. The policies were intended to keep so-called blacks non-threatening and under control. Dr. Anderson continues, meritorious manumssion rewarded blacks who, now remember, here in Virginia, which we dwell, you can still feel the very racist, grit, hatred, extremist, so-called white supremacist mindset here, live and direct. One thing was going on here in Richmond, the gentrification, and what Esau's doing is they're building, Richmond up crazy. And what I remember hearing back, I want to say during the Charlotte days when Charlotte was being gentrified and being brought up, being built up, as you can see today, they call it Charlotte. What is it, baby Atlanta? It was going roughly in the early 2000s when I moved down there. And I remember hearing about how Richmond basically denied that offer to build Richmond, Virginia up because they wanted to keep things in Virginia historic. And when you go into the history of Virginia, Virginia has a lot of slave, so-called Native American, which is the tribe of Gad, history, which it shows, and they want to broadcast so-called white supremacy. And they show it. Be it Virginia is a Commonwealth state and it's an at-will state as well. So, you can they will employ you here and then they can just fire you at will. It doesn't matter if you're over your probation period. This is a little brief history. But one thing Richmond did is deny that offer. But now, they're trying to make it seem like now that they're, trying to build up Richmond, build up high rises, trying to make it, thrivish. Got it looking more so like I want to say Northern, no, I wouldn't say Northern Virginia, but a DC mixture between Northern Virginia. They're trying to make it look like a thriving city, a thriving place. The north side, south side, east end, west end. But yeah, you feel those Edomites that are moving here into Richmond. They have a very and that been here, especially when you go to those the metropolitan areas, and also when you go into these little small counties. And Virginia has a lot of sundown towns as well. Everywhere in Virginia, a lot of places in Virginia, it has a high rate of poverty. It looks like, again, for people that's been here, they know. But I'm not going to stay on that topic. But yeah, Virginia racist as hell. I'm just put it say just like that. You can deny it all you want to, but hey, you just a slave-minded Negro, or you just if you live here, if you're another nation, you're not an Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native American. If you are what is that, Ishmaelite, so-called Arab, or so-called African, you can detest. But said Dr. Anderson continues, meritorious manumission rewarded blacks who, for personal gain, were thought openly or nefariously the efforts by other so-called blacks to alter the racial status quo of keeping blacks as a group on the bottom. Meritorious manumission behavior is often observed in the ranks of so-called black elected officials. I don't need to expound on that. We know what's going on. Ministers, civil rights leaders, athletes, and entertainment personalities. And you see that high and heavy. They abandon their own people in exchange for public attention, financial resources, and personal comfort. Thus, you can see. Let me get a couple of scriptures real quick. First Timothy 6.